Hello students, in the previous class we have discussed about the tissues and we have also discussed about the differences between plant and animal tissues. In today's class we are going to study the plant tissues. So let us first study the outline of the plant tissues or the classification of the plant tissues. Okay, now plant tissues are basically divided into two main categories on the basis of cell division. Okay, so plant tissues are divided on the basis of cell division into two broad categories. Okay, so the cells or the tissues which can continuously divide, the cells of the tissues which are continuously dividing, okay, they are called as meristematic tissues. Okay, I mean these cells are continuously dividing. The cells of this tissue are continuously dividing throughout their life, and those cells which lose the power to divide, and they are then called as permanent tissue. So permanent tissues lose the power to divide. Okay, so those are called as permanent tissue. Now let us talk about meristematic tissue. Now meristematic tissues are again divided into three categories based on position. So based on position, they are again divided into three categories. Number one, lateral meristem. Number two, intercalary meristem, and number three, the meristem which is present at the tip, that is called as the apical meristem. So we'll write here apical meristem. This is the first meristem. Then intercalary meristem. Okay, and the third one is lateral meristem. So we are going to study them individually one by one afterwards. Okay, and the permanent tissues are again divided into two categories. Okay, basically they are divided into two categories again based on type of cells. Okay, if the permanent tissue is made up of one type of cells, then we call it as simple permanent tissue. So the first category is simple permanent tissue. Okay, now simple permanent tissues are again divided into three categories based on their structure and function. They are divided into parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Okay, so the permanent tissues are divided into two categories based on the type of cells. So if they are having one type of cell, they are called as simple permanent tissue. Okay, if second is more than one type of cells, more than one type of cells, if they are made up of more than one type of cells, they are called as complex permanent tissue. Okay, so the category is complex permanent tissue. So basically permanent tissues are divided into two categories, complex and simple permanent. Then complex permanent are again divided into two categories based on structure and function, into xylem and phloem. Okay, so this is the overview of the plant tissues. Let us recall it again. Now plant tissues are again are divided into two categories based on cell division. So based on the cell division, they are divided into two categories. Okay, and they are called as meristematic tissue, which are continuously dividing, and permanent, which lose the power to divide. Okay, then meristematic tissues are again divided based on their position where they are present in the plants. Okay, so they are divided into three categories: apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and the lateral meristem. Okay, and the permanent tissue which lose the power to divide means the cells does not divide at all. Okay, they lose the power to divide, so they are divided into two categories based on type of cells. They can contain one type of cells or more than one type of cells. If they contain one type of cells, they are called as simple permanent. If they contain more than one type of cells, they are called as complex permanent. So simple permanent again divided on the basis of structure and function into parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. And the complex permanent tissue is again divided into two categories based on structure and function into xylem and phloem. You might have heard about xylem and phloem. These are the conductive tissues which conduct water and food. Okay, now let us talk about the meristematic tissues. Okay, so the next heading is meristematic tissues, and write this classification of plant tissues in your copy. Okay, and now let us move to the next heading, that is meristematic tissues. Now let us talk about meristematic tissues. Now I already have given you that meristematic tissues are those which are continuously dividing. So the cells are continuously dividing and they keep on dividing throughout their life. They don't stop division, they divide throughout their life. Okay, if they stop division, they are not called as meristematic, then they are called as permanent. So cells are continuously dividing throughout the life. Okay, and these tissues are again divided into three categories based on position. Okay, so based on the position, they are divided into three categories. So let us discuss about number one, that is apical meristem. Okay, so as the word is suggesting apical, now apical means tip. Okay, so basically they are present at the tip of stem and they are present at the tip of roots. Okay, so if they are present at the tip of the stem, they are called as shoot, apical meristem, and if they are present at the root tip, then they are called as root apical meristem. Okay, so basically they are present at the tip, at the apices. So apical means tip. Okay, so root tip and shoot tip. Okay, or stem tip. So shoot apical meristem is there and root apical meristem. So this is the position where they are present. Now what is the function of that apical meristem? Now there is a simple function is that it helps in the increase in the length of stem and root. So it increases the length of root and stem. So basically meristematic tissues are responsible for growth. Meristematic tissues are responsible for growth. Okay, so they help in the growth of the plant. Now we know that growth can take place lengthwise as well as widthwise. Okay, so these apical meristem tissues are there which helps in the length of the root and stem. Okay, so wherever the growing areas are present in the plants, there will be meristematic tissues. Okay, now let us discuss about number 2. Number 2 is intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem. Okay, now let us discuss about the intercalary meristem. Now intercalary, inter C-A-L-A-R-Y. I hope you can read my writing. Intercalary meristem. Okay, now intercalary means what? Inter means between. Okay, now here between means, and calorie means here between nodes, between nodes or at internode. Internode. Now what is a node basically in a plant? Now suppose this is a plant, okay, and from this place a branch or a leaf is growing. Okay, a branch or leaf is growing, and there is a place again here. From this place also a branch or a leaf is there. Okay, so these places from a new branch or a new leaf arises, that place is basically called as node. So node is the place on the stem of the plant from where a new branch or a new leaf arises. That is place is called as a node. And the place between two nodes is the internode. Okay, so what is present at the internode? The internode contains intercalary meristem. So you should note down intercalary meristem is present between nodes or at the internode. Okay, and what is the function of that? Function of intercalary meristem, very easy. The function of the intercalary meristem is it helps in the growth of, I already told you meristematic tissues are responsible for growth. So intercalary meristem is also responsible for growth. But growth of what? It is responsible for the growth of branches, leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. Okay, so it helps, let me write here, helps in the growth of leaves, branches, okay, and you can write even flowers, etc. So the intercalary meristem is present between nodes or at internode. Inter means between. Okay, so between nodes it is present and helps in the growth of the different parts of the plant like leaves and branches. Now let us talk about the third one, that is called as lateral meristem. Okay, now lateral means what? Lateral means sidewise. Okay, so it is present sidewise. Suppose this is the stem, so it is present sidewise. This is the side of the plant, so it contains what? Lateral meristem. Okay, lateral meristem. Okay, now let us talk about the function of that. So it is present sidewise, and the function is it increases width of the plant. Okay, width or the diameter or thickness, whatever you can say, thickness or girth of the plant. So it increases the width of the plant or diameter, whatever word you can use. Okay, so it increases the width of the plant. Width means diameter or thickness or girth. So it increases the width of the plant. So lateral meristem is responsible for increasing the thickness of the plant. You might have seen any plant. If you see any plant, you will see that first is increases lengthwise, and after a certain age, when it is increasing up to a certain height, then only the thickness of the plant start increasing. Okay, now one more thing which I want to tell you here is that you can note down that meristematic tissues can again be classified into two categories. Basically they are called as primary meristem and secondary meristem. primary meristem Primary meristem and secondary meristem. So what is primary meristem? Let us first consider this primary meristem. Primary meristem are present since the germination of the plant. Okay, so they are present from the starting of the plant life. Okay, so that is why they are called as primary meristem. So they are present since the plant is formed, present from germination, means from the starting of the plant life they are present. What about the secondary meristem? Secondary meristem. Secondary meristem are not present from the starting of the plant life. They appear after a certain age. Okay, that is why the name is given secondary meristem. So they appear after a certain time period. Certain time period, and that time period varies from plant to plant. Okay, so different plants have different time period when this secondary meristem appears. So primary meristem examples are, example of primary meristem is the first two, that is the apical meristem. So apical meristem is also a primary meristem, and intercalary meristem. Okay, intercalary meristem is also a primary meristem. Now let us talk about secondary meristem. Now secondary meristem example is lateral meristem. Lateral meristem. So lateral meristem appears after a certain time period, and this causes the thickness of the plant. Okay, so lateral meristem has one more name is there. If you want, you can note down. It is also called as cambium. Let me write here. Lateral meristem is also called as cambium. Okay, now this is all about the meristematic tissues. Now let us see what is given here in the NCERT, and that you can also underline in your books. Okay, so the growth of plant occurs only in certain specific regions. I have already told you that growth of plant takes place in a certain specific regions, and these regions contain the dividing tissue, and that dividing tissue is known as meristematic tissue, and it is located only at these points. I already told you, based on the position or location, meristematic tissues are divided into three categories. So depending upon the region where they are present, meristematic tissues are classified as apical, lateral and intercalary. Already I have explained you. So new cells produced by meristem are initially like those of meristem itself, but as they grow and mature, their characteristics slowly change, and they become differentiated and they form other type of tissues. So that we are going to see, this part we are going to see when we are going to study about the permanent tissues. So you can see here apical meristem is present at the tip, intercalary is present between the nodes, and the lateral meristem is present at the sides. So you can underline in page and you can write these as notes. So apical meristem is present at the growing tips of stem and roots, increases the length of stem and root. The girth of the stem or root increases due to the lateral meristem. Already I have told you that is called as cambium. And the intercalary meristem is seen near the node or between two nodes, and helps in the function of the intercalary meristem is not written in your book, but I have already explained in my notes, so you can write the function of the intercalary meristem from the notes which I have given you. Now if you see here on the next page of your NCERT, cells, you can write here the heading of this is characteristics, characteristics, characteristics of meristematic tissues. Okay, characteristics of the meristematic tissues. Okay, so if the question is asked what are the characteristics of the meristematic tissues, there are 4 points and 4 or 5 points which are given here. Cells of meristematic tissues are very active. This is number one. Active means continuously dividing. So what does active means here? Active means continuously dividing. Number two, they have dense cytoplasm. This is number two. They have dense cytoplasm because they are continuously dividing. So their cytoplasm is having lot of organelles. So that is why the cytoplasm is dense, means having thick nature. And number three is they have thin cellulose walls. Number three is they have thin cellulose walls, because they are continuously dividing, so they don't want to keep their walls thick, otherwise it will be difficult for them to divide. And they have prominent nucleus. Number 4, they have prominent nucleus, means they have lot of chromosomes in their nucleus. Almost the double amount of chromosomes are present, because the nucleus is also going to divide when the cell is going to divide. And the number 5 is they lack vacuoles. So we have already learned that plant cells have got big vacuoles, but the meristematic tissues, the cells of the meristematic tissues does not have vacuoles. Why? Because they don't need to store anything, because they are continuously dividing. So these are the 5 characteristics of meristematic tissues, so that you are going to write in your copies as notes. In the next class we are going to discuss about the permanent tissues. I hope you have understood this part of the chapter. Thank you, students.